I'm not in charge of it. Welcome to Tales, Tunes, and Tomfoolery, starring Jerry Springer, along with Gene Galvin and me. I'm Megan Hills. We're recorded live in front of a brilliant studio audience at the Folk School Coffee Parlor in Ludlow, Kentucky.
My daddy
And
came
here he is,
home
ladies and gentlemen,
every
Mr.
day
Jerry Springer.
from there.
Hey, yeah, I saw.
What'd you see?
Yes.
Never mind.
Celebrities.
Celebrity
in
sighting.
the house.
Yeah.
Hey, I
What,
think I
Gene?
saw something or read something. Were you out of the country like till just recently?
Yeah, this weekend. Well, last Wednesday, I was in London for 3 days, and then Saturday went to Dublin, which was St. Patrick's Day.
Oh my God.
So you were
Yeah,
in Ireland for St. Patrick's Day.
Well, yeah, they always let one Jew in, and no.
You were it this year. You made the cut.
Yeah, I made the cut. No, it was great. They have this show, the Ray Darcy show. It's like our Saturday Night Live.
Okay.
You know,
nice.
and so I was the guest this week. And
No kidding. You were like the guest host of that show?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Huh.
very cool.
And then so you know, you're on the couch. They interview you and that kind of stuff, and
Nice.
it was really nice. And then,
Cool.
and
Hey,
that-
do you when you fly there? I'm just
Yeah.
curious because Megan and I are mortal souls, so we'll just go over and buy a ticket and stand in line and go through all the security
Head,
stuff.
shoulders, knees, and toes.
So, but you fly your Gulfstream over, don't you?
I would, but I feel your pain right now. No, this was
You
an
flew
outrage.
commercial?
Oh,
Well, because we'll go, Megan,
Yeah.
and they'll lose our luggage
Absolutely.
or something, you know.
And then beat
But
us.
that doesn't happen to him because he's
it
flying
was
first class.
a nightmare. Beyond the obvious problem of other people on the plane. So I have to get to
Amazing.
come back because the show, you know, arranged for the tickets
Yeah,
and whatever the flight.
woe is us. I know. Yeah.
So
I know. Can we get
I
some
had to
violin
fly
music
from
here?
Dublin to London to get the flight back to the States because, you know, yesterday I had the show in Connecticut. So I get on it's snowing in Dublin, but a lot of snow. So, and they're not used to that. And so I'm sitting on the plane because I got to make a connection. We were on the plane for 3 hours.
Really?
Ugh.
And then they brought the de-icer, and that broke down.
And you can just sit
And
there.
I'm
You can't
looking,
do
and I see the
anything.
time going by, and of course, I missed the connection to the States. So now I arrive in London, and I'm thinking, well, what do I do? And all these other people had problems too, but excuse me.
They
So-
know how to get by in
Feel you,
day-to-day
bro.
life,
Yeah.
which is something that
Oh, Mr. Springer, come this way.
Mr. Springer, please follow us.
So, and we find a flight that's going to the States, a British Air flight, and we run there. They get me on, but before I get on, I go, I can't. I need my luggage. You sure the luggage will come off? We're absolutely sure. We marked yours down. It will make the plane. Because they're not going to put it on any other plane. They don't put their luggage on unless the person's on, security reasons. So we'll get the luggage on. Don't worry, Mr. Springer.
How'd that work?
Fine. Well, so I get on the plane, and I finally take a deep breath because, you know, it's been already a 10-hour day.
Yeah.
So now I'm on the plane. Now, they got a nice in first class. You get a little bed and a little area.
Ho,
Well-
ho, 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 ho.
No, it's not
Ho,
an
ho.
area. It's a, what do you
Hold
call
on.
it?
Like a cubicle?
A
So
cubicle.
he's roughing it in first
Hold
class on
on.
British Airways. Let's get there.
Oh.
Hold on. I know nothing about this. Are you saying that in first class, I guess this would be like on European flights or
Yeah.
long
You've
flights,
seen those, like the cubes. They're cool.
you have a cubicle? Your own little, like, rich-ass little place you go
Well,
into?
they
and
didn't have my name on it. It was just, yeah. So I in the cube, yeah. And but it was kind of nice.
Yeah.
The seat could have been softer, but okay. So I'm there in the cubicle, and they bring you your meal with a nice white tablecloth
Oh,
and everything.
Christ.
No,
Meanwhile, it cost a
anyway,
bagel.
Yeah, and dogs are running around and dying and all that
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
You know?
Jerry,
Now it's about
Coughing.
it's about a seven and a half hour flight going west. So I'm in the middle of the flight. I'm sitting there reading. It's kind of dark because, people are watching the movies, etc. And I'm reading my book. Then I feel someone kind of grab my arm, and I figure, well, maybe they just were walking by and bumped. And then this elderly gentleman kind of leans into me, and he says, "Excuse me, I asked the flight attendants if it'd be okay if I just said hello to you." I said, well, yeah.
Some earthling,
Yeah.
Somebody snuck up there from tourists or something.
And he says, are you Jerry Springer? You look at just that. And I said, yes. And he says, well, I'm Paul. And as soon as he said Paul, and I looked at him, it was Paul McCartney.
Shut up. Shut up.
I swear to God. Now it gets better.
I hate you. That is so not fair.
Oh, it was wonderful. So it's Paul McCartney. And he just stood there and talked for a while, and then he says, do you mind if I sit down? And, in the cubicles,
You're
they have
making it up now.
I swear to
That
God.
is so cool.
And we are then talking.
He's in your cubicle?
Yeah, it was my cubicle.
Yeah.
And, no, and honestly, we took 20 minutes, a half hour. I mean,
Damn.
We just talked about it. We covered lots of stuff. Just the nicest, most, and the whole time we're talking, in the back of my mind, I say, I know Mickey wants a picture.
Yeah. How can you do that and be cool?
But
You can't do it and be cool.
Megan, you know the coolest thing about this? I had not heard this story.
He actually kept it fresh.
I know nothing of this. What is cool, Mickey wants the picture. I get it.
Oh, yeah.
But the cool thing is I know, because he has this podcast, we're going to have Paul McCartney
shut
on.
up, Gene.
He obviously asked him. He obviously said, I do a podcast. It's just a phone call. You'll be on our show. When are we going to have him on?
How did that conversation go, Jerry? Tell us, please.
Hold on.
It went.
And
had one
moms,
job.
put your hands over your kids' ears. Megan, the dumbest shit in the world would not miss asking him to be on the podcast.
And in
And
fact,
yet.
we had
And
someone.
yet.
We had someone on our podcast. Remember talking about how they got Paul McCartney
Voicemail. Yeah.
on the voicemail to talk to. And then, towards the end of the conversation, he says, we ought to get together. And I said, well, we could go to a ball game or something like that. He says, yeah, maybe a Knicks game.
Maybe a Reds game and come and do the podcast, you nitwit.
Thank
What is
you.
wrong with you?
Thank you.
But when he said the Knicks game, I said, no, I like professional basketball. Yeah.
Who?
So he said,
And that
"Oh,
was
yeah."
his relationship with Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
Then it ended.
But honestly, he was just the warmest,
That's real
nicest, nothing celebrity. And I just couldn't, after he was so genuine and it was so nice. And then at
Can I
the
get
end
your
to say,
picture?
yeah, it's like, now it's like, I want to use the picture, so we could have a subject on the podcast.
Well,
Hey,
wow, that just came
But
out
that-
just like that. That's
Just
what
like
he
that.
thinks of us, Gene.
I know.
It wasn't all good because now, if I had not rushed to get on that plane, I wouldn't have met Paul McCartney.
Yes.
But because I did meet Paul McCartney, I lost my luggage.
Whoa.
So that cost me 2 suits.
Whoa. You had to go buy 2 suits to do the show? Is that what you're saying?
That's the
I had my
price of most
people.
people's cars.
I get it.
That is really cool, though. That's
That is.
So my
Paul
luggage
McCartney.
did arrive.
I did.
Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you something. When he comes in, the reason I know if we can somehow track him down, he would, I don't know, but I would think he would come on this show
I think-
over
I
the
mean,
phone.
You
Is
never
that
know
he
for sure.
sought you out. You didn't seek him out, and then it's like, well, we
That's
don't know
what made it-
exactly what he
that's
thinks
what-
of you.
that was-
What did he ask you and talk to you about? Did he know you have a political side? Had he seen you on any of those talking head shows?
He knew. Actually, he did know my. Our show has been in England for 27 years.
And is that what he talked to you about?
Well, a
Did
little
he-
that, but we also talk politics. So yeah,
Okay.
he knew my politics.
Ooh, what did he
yeah.
have to say about politics?
Oh, they're so proud of the Americans.
I'm sure. I'm sure there were some choice words.
Oh yeah.
You guys are really doing a
But-
bang-up job.
And then he's going on. He was talking about his family, and he's going out to L.A. He's making an album right now. He's in the middle of making an album.
That's so cool.
And I said, "What kind of pictures will it have?"
I hate you.
This is why you shouldn't get to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You ruin
I'd
it.
say he laughed at 3 out of 5 of the jokes.
He's a very generous man, that Paul
I was
McCartney.
batting 600.
Yeah, you're doing pretty good. That is really
It was really exciting for me.
really cool.
You know.
I mean, think about this. Several weeks ago, and this is true, you sang "Blowing in the Wind" with Noel Paul Stookey at Peter, Paul and Mary.
It's my month of Pauls.
I know. And then you meet Paul McCartney.
Can you imagine how excited he is?
That really is neat, Jerry.
And it also says something, all kidding aside, about, because we do a lot of joking about what is the impact of the Jerry Springer TV show, because it's so entertaining and because it is what it is. And yet celebrities at his level, he's pretty, I mean,
He's up there.
What,
Sorry,
isn't he
Jer.
Sir?
He is Sir.
Sir Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's quite amazing that he would come. I'm not surprised, but it's pretty cool that he sought you out and wanted.
Forget that it was me. The fact that he would do it with anybody, and I mean that's what was so nice.
Yeah,
He
but
sounds like humble and just very cool.
no, you have you connect with a lot of people, including, but you know, a couple rich guys sitting. I still can't picture these cubicles. It just
Have you not seen that online? Like you?
No.
Yeah, they're pretty cool looking.
yeah.
Google, Gene. Just Google
Amazing.
it. You can do it.
Yeah. So anyone, hey,
There's
I
no
know-
point in it. I mean,
No,
it's not going to
that's
get
not like he's
close.
going to see it in real life anytime soon.
Yeah, right. No, not gonna happen.
What's the point?
We've got Casey Campbell coming on
Yeah.
as our
Yes.
musical
Very
act.
own Casey Campbell.
We're also going to ask Jerry to talk about what he sees as Donald Trump's strategy as he faces the tightening of the screws of
You use that
special.
term. You use that term loosely.
Yeah, I know. Of Mueller.
But
Yeah. But I saw on, I think something on Facebook about that showed you singing some Elvis when you were in Dublin. By the way, you weren't in England. You were
No,
in
at first
Ireland. for a little
I did some shows in England on Thursday and Friday.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Wednesday and Thursday, and then Friday and Saturday up to Dublin.
Okay, and I think our podcast still runs on a station.
Oh, we
in
are
England,
Saturday
right?
nights, and
Yeah.
in every Saturday night we're on a talk radio station. There, they run the podcast as a radio show.
That's very
That's
cool.
so
Yeah.
cool.
And I'm going to, Casey doesn't know this is going to happen, but I'm going to ask him if he knows Love Me Tender, because I know you know Love Me Tender, the Elvis song.
It's the only song I know.
And maybe, and Casey's an amazing singer. And he
He's
can
working
do-
at it.
Well, yeah, can.
It's no
Maybe
Jerry
we'll see if
Springer.
he'll be
He's
a-
no Jerry Springer. But
Yeah. Be nice, because if he doesn't come up here, we're screwed.
We're really screwed. Because I don't know the second verse.
Yeah, you'll be singing. But Casey, by the way, along with Crystal Peterson, was the winner of the Cincinnati Musician Activist Talent Search, put on by or
Yes,
conducted
by
by.
the way.
yeah.
Conducted by Music to Life, which is the national charity of Noel Paul Stookey and Peter, Paul and Mary. So that's why they were in town. And so in case he might even do a song that is going to be part of that project. I'm looking
Good.
forward to that. I and a good portion of the crew here at the Jerry Springer podcast, you may have noticed as we came in, we were draped in purple. And you wear purple, Megan, when there's been a death. And we are Jimmy Proust, David Proust, Ryan, myself. We are mourning the loss of Xavier University, second round of
I was
the
wondering where you
NCAA
were going with
tournament.
that, Gene. I got to tell you. It's like,
That's where I'm going. And the University of Cincinnati.
and the
Yeah,
University of
Cincinnati
Both
took a
teams went
real
down
hit.
within about a
still in it,
5-hour
though.
period.
The
Yeah,
Cats-
I have not
the Cats
moved
are
on.
still on.
Well, University of Kentucky, and I'm a Kentuckian too, so I'm for that.
But Deer Park High School apparently is doing well for the state championship.
Apparently,
I mean,
yeah.
for Cincinnati residents, you've got to root for Deer Park because there's no other team that has
I
any
hear where
hope.
this is going now.
No, but anyway, go ahead.
Well,
No,
my
I
old
mean,
high school, McNichols High School, by
no,
the way, I
the
think
guy
it's
who
still-
drove me in told
Yeah.
me that. That's
Oh, really?
That's why I threw in Deer Park.
Well, there you go. Who knew?
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Is Jerry a Loyola fan?
Oh,
They're
yeah,
still in
you
the
were a
tournament.
Loyola of Chicago fan? Because they're in the Sweet 16 of the NCAA tournament.
But I went to Northwestern, so.
I know you did, yeah. Yeah, I get it.
Sorry about your loss, Gene. We are
Yeah.
sorry to see Xavier.
The tuition was a little
Yeah.
higher.
I know, yeah. Hey,
Yeah. No, I wish Loyola a lot of luck. Yeah.
yeah, I do too. What do they have, that nun, Sister Jane or something?
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah.
The
Yeah, she's really
90-something-year-old
cool.
woman. Yeah,
She's
she
very
is the good luck charm.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to be rooting for them. Now, right,
Yeah.
I remember that story.
That was
Yeah.
a hard sell.
Now, by the way, let's keep this in mind. 1962, University of Cincinnati had won the NCAA championship 2 years in a row.
Yes.
This is a year before Oscar Robertson,
Yeah.
the greatest basketball player who ever played the game, came to Cincinnati to play for the University of Cincinnati, Crispus High School, Indianapolis. So I sound like Jerry Springer, don't I? Like I know some facts about something. But anyway, they were going for their third win in a row.
Third national
Unprecedented.
championship.
Third national championship.
Did they run up against Ohio State?
They ran up against Loyola of Chicago, and they lost in overtime
Yeah, okay.
to Loyola of Chicago.
And you
That
have
was
the nerve to be
1962.
rooting for them now.
No, well, I don't know.
Well, no, that's fine.
No,
Well,
no,
you know
I'm not.
what?
I hate them. I hate them. I'm against them.
No grudges held, though. We're good.
I'm Bishmoka with you. I'm not. You know, that's a Catholic
Bishmoka.
school. I'm Bishmoka.
It is thick in here today, ladies and gentlemen.
Robert Mueller is investigating a lot of stuff. We're not even sure all. Do you sense that Donald Trump has a strategy to deal with this wrench that keeps tightening?
His strategy is more instinctive than thought out. I mean, I don't think he's, sat there and say, now how am I going to handle this? I just think which is his, if he has a talent, it's his instinctive way to know how to get something. And let's start out by saying that whatever the charges are, he's guilty. Now, I know that sounds like an absurdity to not know what the specific charges are, but the reason, it's kind of like saying O.J. Simpson really was guilty. He was found not guilty, but, most people go around and say, yeah, he really did kill it, So, but with Trump, the reason I say whatever it is, he's guilty of something because when you're innocent, you act innocent. And everything he has done publicly, so it's not like we have any inside information. Even if you know nothing about what Mueller is investigating, nothing about the inside story, just what he has done on television, his behavior, his tweets, they are all responses of a guilty person. He's on television, in public, he's obstructed justice already. We've seen it. So he fires Comey. He fires Andrew McCabe. He blasts the Attorney General Sessions for recusing himself on the whole Russian involvement with the Trump campaign. He fired Sally Yates, the Assistant Attorney, Deputy Attorney General. His tweets on Mueller, his tweets on Rosenstein. He fired Tillerson for saying something, on the day he said something finally that we ought to get tough with Russia. He gets the House Investigative Committee to stop the Russian investigations. He keeps every interview saying they ought to stop this. I want this over with. Now, as honest as anyone can be, with no partisanship, as hard as that is, try, with no partisanship, you know very well that if you had not done anything, any human being that was totally innocent wouldn't be doing all these things. Why wouldn't the response of the President of the United States be, upon being told that Russia may have meddled in our election, why wouldn't your response was, get to the bottom of this right away? Whoever you have to talk to, etc. Anyone who was involved in this campaign, you ought to get them, investigate them. If they were involved, full power of the law should come down on them. I mean, that's the response of a chief executive whose major responsibility is to care and defend the United States of America. That's what an innocent person would do. I'm not even talking about a courageous person, any human being. If you're innocent, you don't do everything that Trump is doing. It is the behavior of a guilty person. So he sits at home, you know, in the White House, whatever, and he sits and he knows what he's done, right? He's the one person clearly that knows what he's done and why he wants this investigation to stop. So what possible strategies could he have? And they're being discussed all the time. Well, the first one you hear about, is he going to fire Mueller to stop this investigation? That would create real problems. Even some Republicans are talking, well, that would be the grounds for moving towards impeachment. It's kind of like when Nixon fired Archibald Cox back in the Watergate era. That was the beginning of the end of Nixon. So that's one thing. He could try to do that, but that would bring it to a head. So he may be afraid to do that, but he still could do it. Another thing he could do is Mueller could finish the investigation and then file his report. But it goes to the Justice Department. How do you know that the Justice Department is going to make it public? What if they say this is all, you know, high security, top security? And we have the report now, we know what happened, but we have to keep it secret, or we're going to redact some parts of it so we don't find out what goes on. They could release the report fully and still not do anything. What if they issue the report and say, yeah, they did this, they did that, and did that, but then it's still up to the government to do something about it? What confidence do we have that the government, as long as it's controlled by Republicans here, that they will do anything about it? He could refuse the subpoena that Mueller would probably then give him if he said, I'm not going to testify. He'll get subpoenaed. What if he says, I don't care, I'm not doing it? And then goes to the court. That'll drag out. It'll get buried there in the court. What if he takes the Fifth Amendment, which he has every right to do? It stops it there. But here's the point I'd like to make. Whatever decision he makes about how he's going to respond to his guilt in his mind, knowing that what he did, his fate rests 100% in the hands of Republicans. So the only thing which can get him in trouble is if the Republicans turn on him. Whether that's either impeachment, an indictment, whatever, it's going to take the Republicans to do it. Now, why haven't the Republicans, other than Republicans that aren't running for re-election, why have the Republicans been so quiet about it? The Republicans have just sat back in silence, including disgustingly the majority leader in the Senate and the Speaker of the House. You know, it's unbelievable how quiet they are and everything that's going on. The Republicans are keeping quiet because they're worried about being primaried out, or the people in their own constituency, in their own district that elected them, they'll see that these guys are, unsupportive of the president that we voted for, that the Republicans will say. So they're scared. So somehow, the only way Trump survives, or the only way he doesn't survive, let me say it again. What Trump needs to happen is to make sure that he has to give the Republicans cover so that they won't be afraid to support him. As soon as it becomes clear to members of Congress that they are going to be punished if they won't be punished if they go against Trump, that's when it falls apart for Trump. So Republican congressional candidates, Republican congressmen, Republican senators, they all are thinking in their own minds, if I go against Trump, what is the consequence of that? So Trump has to make sure that they know they're going to pay a price for not going against him. So Trump has to give Republicans cover. And what is that cover? It is the one thing that is consistent with everything Trump has been doing for the last 6 months. And that is, and we all think he's gone crazy, what's he doing, all these tweets, all this. He has to make the issue look as if it's partisan. So he rips into every prosecutor. He rips into every newspaper, the media, into every politician that goes against him, into every report that comes out, into every woman that brings a case against him. He rips against all of them, trying to bring in, and he hasn't thought about this, it's instinctive, trying to bring them into a fight. Because when the Democrats say, that's too far, Mr. President, you can't do it, Trump's got him. Because now it's Democrats versus Republicans. And once a Republican congressman sees that this is a partisan fight, that all of this Russian stuff has nothing to do with Russia or the fall of America, it has to do with Democrats and Republicans fighting for power, then we're on Trump's turf. And remember, he doesn't have to get a majority of the people, or even a majority of the Congress, or a majority of the Senate. Just like how he got the presidency, he didn't need a majority of the voters. He's got to get enough in order to throw him out of office if he got impeached. 2/3 of the United States Senate. 2/3. That takes an awful lot of Republicans to go against him. But if he can give the Republicans the ability to go back to their districts, back to their states and said, hey, this whole Russian thing is pure partisanship. The committees are coming back with separate reports. You know, the Democrats are screaming. They're just trying to get back back control of the Senate, the Congress, etc. That's all they need. Even if they're wrong, they can just say that. So then a congressman can go to a meeting and say, well, the reason I voted for it is because, honestly, this is partisan. If I thought there was anything to this, I would have, of course, been there. That is instinctively what Trump's strategy is. Make the Russia issue a partisan issue, because that will get enough Republicans to feel safe in sticking with Trump. That's what's going on.
And now coming to the stage, we have our very own Casey Campbell. How you going? How you doing, Case?
I'm good. How are y'all?
Doing good.
That's good.
You gonna sing us a little song?
I reckon I will. I think I'm going to sing one with Jerry here.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, why don't you do Love Me Tender, or at least a little piece
Oh,
of it.
yeah.
Casey will accompany you.
This rant wasn't bad enough?
I just heard your latest singing foray that's on YouTube there.
On the
From
YouTube.
your
Oh,
from
you
your
gotta
Dublin
get.
show.
Yeah, that was Can't Help Falling in Love.
That was yeah. You did a fine job. That's what I told you. I can
There are
tell
no
why,
bonuses.
I can tell why they thought you were lip syncing. It was that good.
Is that good?
Yeah. Actually, no.
They thought it was- they really
there's
did.
something going on in Ireland now where people are calling in saying he lip synced.
You're causing controversy over there now, too.
How
Way to
can
go,
that be?
Jer.
So let's see how Love Me Tender
Yeah, let's
goes.
Oh, wait, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Prove your
What-
haters
what-
wrong,
what-
Jer. There's
what
no
key
there's
you
no
did
lip
this in?
syncing.
What key? L sharp.
L sharp. I think I know that.
Prove those haters wrong, Mr. Springer.
Love
Me
tender, love me true, never let me go. Oh, my darling, I love you, and I always will. Love me tender, love me true, all my dreams fulfill. Oh, my darling, I love you, and I always will.
here's the thing.
Here's the thing.
This is Elvis at 74. You know, this is exactly how he would have sounded
Yep.
if he would have just said no.
Unpop that collar there, Spring. Tuck that right back in where that belongs. Thank you, Casey.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Casey, but thank you.
You're all right.
All right. So, Mr. Campbell, I hear you're going to sing for us Ain't Gonna Let Nobody Turn Me Around.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about
this song. This is one. It was the second week of podcasts. We had episode 3 and 4 were the David Fankhauser Civil Rights episodes.
Right.
That night was a really important one, and I really took to the message and some of the stories. Cincinnati. I was born and raised in Alabama, just outside of Birmingham. I went to school at Jacksonville State University, which, by the way, got hit by a tornado last night.
No kidding.
Oh, man.
Yeah, they're dealing with some really bad stuff down there right now.
Oh.
That's the part of the country that I was born and raised in and spent all my time until I was a young adult.
One of the brave men and women who went south to ride buses deep into the South to test and challenge drinking fountain laws.
Yeah.
African American and Caucasian young college students went into these settings in bus stations and they violated the rules. And that bus was firebombed, and these people, including David Fankhauser, were put into jail. He spent 43 days at Parchman Prison. It's a work farm. And where is that? Jackson, Mississippi?
That was in Jackson, Mississippi. Yeah, that was on the second leg. That was the leg that they did, I think he said, after the bus bombing.
Right.
Because the bus
He was the
bombing-
second wave.
Yeah, because the bus bombing fired. I mean, that was a really just horrific event.
He came from Central State University in Ohio. And they sang songs, civil rights songs, in prison for 43 days to A, sustain themselves, and B, to kind of stay connected because they were in a long cell block, as David Fankhauser describes it. And you look out of their bars, and all you would see was a wall and some windows that led outside. And they could yell at each other and communicate and sing these songs, right, Casey?
That's right. This was Ain't Gonna Let Nobody Turn Me Around. It's been used. I was talking to Gene. He said when the Cincinnati teachers struck 40 years ago, they sang this song. And Cincinnati teachers haven't had to strike since because they know that they can't mess with them now because they know that they'll organize, you know. And that's part of it. And so this is a congregational tune, and we're going to be... So everybody get your note, and we're going to sing Ain't Gonna Let Nobody Turn Me Around. We're going to sing in honor of that and in honor of the West Virginia teachers who just struck to get a better livable wage. We're going to sing Ain't Gonna Let No School Board Turn Me Around. And we're going to sing Ain't Gonna Let No President Turn Me Around. Because it doesn't matter who's in that office, because we the people, that is this country, and we have to recognize that. And I thank Jerry so much every week for trying to draw attention to stuff that really needs to be talked about in a civil way. But you know, there are just some barbaric things going on in higher levels of government right now. We just can't take that. We just can't. So we're going to sing those 3 verses tonight. We'll just keep a nice short version of this song. But this is going to be part of this civil rights project that Crystal and I are going to be working on. We hope to do something rather big with this song in particular, just because it was so powerful to me, and want to try to make sure it stays that way. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me round, turn me round, turn me round. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me round. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching to freedom land. All right, we're gonna do that again. So now everybody knows the song. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. I'm gonna sing, ain't gonna let nobody, ain't gonna let no school board, ain't gonna let no president. All right? Everybody's got a voice. Don't be afraid. Sing
Okay,
out.
I can do it.
If Jerry Springer can do it, folks, I think you can. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. Oh, turn me around. Oh, turn me around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching to freedom land. Yes, ain't gonna let no boy, turn me round. Oh, turn me round. Oh, turn me round. Ain't gonna let no schoolboy turn me round. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching to freedom land. Yes, ain't gonna let no president turn me round. Oh, turn me round. Oh, turn me round. I ain't gonna let no president turn me round. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching to freedom land.
Whoa! Woo! So that's what a voice sounds like.
It's a hell of a voice, too, Case.
Oh, thank y'all.
Fill a room, brother.
I try.
If I would have known he'd be
My
singing,
mother told me
I
to
would-
sing out when I was in church. She
Sing
said,
out,
open your mouth.
Louise.
She
Sing
said,
out.
open your mouth and sing. I said, okay.
What else you got for us there, sir?
Well, how much time do we have? I
Well-
can play another tune, or we can go ahead and get on some Down by the Riverside.
Do another tune.
Do another song? Okay.
Yeah, this is too good.
All right. Well, let's see. What am I going to do? What am I going to do?
Wasn't
Threw me off.
expecting
I'll tell you what, I'll do this song. The song's called August 1st, 2011. I may have played this on my very first appearance, but that was almost 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
We've
almost
been on
3 years ago right now.
Yeah,
Can you believe
actually
we've been doing
coming
that
up on
long?
it. Yep.
Yeah.
Ludlow, Kentucky has taken you for that long, Jerry. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
August 1st, 2011 is the name of the song. I play my song every night for red taillights and transvestites in the subway. Concrete that don't leave a track like an old dirt road when I was barefoot walking. Steel don't bend against the wind. Time and again I hear them talking to me. Small towns never stood a chance to cage a man who's dead without his freedom. I'm a long way from the man you knew before. I'm a long way from my home. It's hard to go to work for just a check when I checked out long ago. And it's time to cut the strings and all these useless things that held me down for so long. You waste a day, you waste a year, you wake and ask yourself, where did the time go? Dreams like empty cans are scattered along around the high grass of your dirt road. Oh, well, maybe I'm just crazy, or maybe I'm going insane. I'm caught between this man I wish to be and the man who wears my name. Maybe I'm gonna pack my things and travel on down to Mexico. Maybe I'm gonna head out west and take my chances on that girl I used to know. Well, maybe I'm gonna stay at home and find some peace inside of me. But all things fade away, and I've learned that if I've learned anything, you know, this world keeps spinning, that world keeps spinning round. I said this world keeps spinning, this world keeps spinning round. With or without us, you know this world keeps spinning, that world gonna spin on round. Oh, this world keeps spinning, that world keeps spinning round.
Wow.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Of course, if you'd like to hear some more of Casey's music, where can they go, Casey?
Casey Campbell Music, all one word.com.
There you go, CaseyCampbellMusic.com. And if you would please, sir, please take us out on Jerry Springer's rendition.
Oh man,
Down
I
by the
can't.
riverside.
I'm gonna ruin this now. We could honestly do this show every week with you. You're that good. We really could. We really could.
Gary, I appreciate it.
Really could.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to put music and work with you guys every week, week in and week out. It helps me meet people that I want to meet along the way because there are so many wonderful artists out there doing, what I'm trying to do too. And so it's
And Casey is our music coordinator for the Jerry
Yeah.
Springer podcast. So the acts you hear, they come through Casey, and we couldn't do this without it.
Yep, absolutely.
I appreciate y'all. I really do.
I'm not paying you a penny more.
You're nothing if not consistent, sir.
I don't know what else to say on
I don't
that.
know.
I reckon I got to play this song anyway.
Yep.
Oh man.
How that goes.
I'm gonna lay down my heavy load down by the riverside. Yeah, down by the riverside. All right, down by the riverside. We gonna lay down our heavy load, y'all, down by the riverside. Said study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. Study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Go on, dear.
Get it, Chair.
Gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside. Down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I'm gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. Woo! Y'all come back now, you hear?
Folks, we're back at it next week with Crystal Peterson and the Queen City Band, all 8 of them. All 8 of them, so we're going to crowd 30 people into this half of the room, and then the band will take up this half. But we'll figure it out, all right?